let's get right into it. Um, so, as we all know, there was a little movie that came out. Um, some people liked it, others didn't really care for it, and that was Shazam. Shazam is one of those movies that is always difficult to make. It's always difficult to make sequels, but it's even more difficult to make a good sequel. And so um, it's going to struggle. And that's not me saying that. That's Deadline saying that. So according to Deadline, it's going to be seeing about a $30 million Friday box office. So we're hearing that according to Deadline, we're hearing that New Line Cinema's Shazam: Fury of the Gods is currently on its way to an $11 million Friday, inclusive of only $3.4 million last night, for what's looking to be a $30 million opening at a little over than 4,000 theaters. The picture cost $125 million to make before P&A and $25 million more than the first Shazam. While that's nothing to scream at, Shazam, about in regards to a 3-day projection note that we have as far as family matinees impact the picture's ticket sales, given how the younger skewing it is, meaning that Batman fans aren't going to be making their way to this movie. According to ComScore, this Friday in March boosts the most for the month when the K through 12 schools, 34% of them out, and 42% colleges are going to be on their breaks. Social media analytics from Relish Mix measured a social media universe across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok of 385.5 million people. That's a plus 4% over Shazam, but 27% off superhero genres normally. However, the campaign makes ground on TikTok with over 80 million views for studio-owned materials. This is what Relish Mix said. Shazam 2's large cast is well activated with materials from worldwide press tours, talk shows, and behind the scene elements, giving fans load to chew on throughout through including Zachary Levi at 2.2 million fans, making good at 16.9 million, Ash and Angle at 13.6, including TikTok and YouTube, Ross Butler at 12.8, Jack Dylan Grazer at 4.1, Rachel Ziegler at 1.1, and director David Sandberg, who came from directing the micro budget Lights Out for Warner Brothers, now has 196,000 fans. They go on to add, conversation about Shazam Fury of the Gods runs mixed with some chatter excited for the Fast Saga's Helen Mirror and Eminem song in the trailer, spun with uncertainty about the playful, silly, goofy tone of the few materials in rotation on YouTube, along with comparisons to other DC characters who travel deeper, darker paths. There's also critical comparison to the first installment. Also, per the estimates, Scream ended up making about $5.3 million on Friday, and it's going to run into about an $18.5 million second weekend, down 59%, and that's totaling just under 79 million. Creed 3 is going to come in at eyeing a $4.5 million Friday, 40% down, and that's going to make 16 to 17 million dollars, and it's made over 127 million dollars by Sunday. Okay, let's talk about this. So we have a couple of things at play here. Number one, we have um, the viewership of this. So this is obviously skewing toward your younger demographic. Okay. Number two, you're coming off, as I said earlier, this is a sequel, so this isn't anything to write home about. And number three, you're talking about reviews. Now, when it comes to reviews, it's one of those things that they can either make or break a movie. Um, this is definitely not what they were looking for. Um, I can tell you that right now. I don't think any movie, let's put it this way, I don't think any movie theater opening up or any theatrical opening at $30 million with $125 million budget says that that's going to do well. Usually, what ends up happening in a perfect world, if you can have it, is you have something that opens like a Creed at 60 or $70 million and then will drop um, about 40 to 50%. So it has some staying power. And I mean, you saw that with Creed. Okay, even though that's only going to make about $15 million this weekend, the second weekend was very, very big for it. It made around 35 million. So now, that being said, you have the story to continue, and if it's only going to open 30, I don't look at opening weekends. While they're important, they're not the absolute major thing. And that being said, I'll tell you this: it's about the second weekend. So, for example, if you have a Creed that opens at $70 million, okay, and then it goes down to, let's say, 35 or 40, that's a great drop. It's 50%, but that's a great drop. This here is opening at $30 million, the low end of the estimates, I should add. I reported earlier in the week that there's a chance that this was going to open between 30 and 35. This is the low end. All of that being said, when you have a um, a Thursday night that's only $3.5 million, that's not good. That's not good at all. So they have to push this out as much as possible. Um, the fact that this is going to be on the low end is scary. Now, not only is it scary here, but what is it going to do next week? Because all the critiques and all the knocks on it and the story and everything else, it's still going to be there. So the question is, how much because you have a John Wick coming out next week, okay? What is it going to do? It's going to drop like a rock. I wouldn't be shocked to see this drop 50, 60, 70%, just like Ant-Man. Okay. Um, and the difference is, what is this? And I said this before too. Okay. This is important to remember because when you have a movie like Shazam that is a sequel, I said it earlier this week that I believe without a shadow of a doubt, this is a precursor for The Flash. And if that's the case, okay, you're in trouble. You're in serious, serious trouble. Now, is the Flash going to make its money opening weekend? Yeah, absolutely. But look where it's opening up. It's opening up June 16th. And by the way, we're going to be doing spoiler. I'm going to be doing a spoiler cast here on the show in case anybody's interested. But nonetheless, look at where it's opening up. It's opening up in the middle of June. You have Across the Spider Verse. You have Transformers coming out the week before, and then 2 weeks after the Flash opens, you have Indiana Jones. It's gonna get just destroyed. So I really believe when you have a movie like this that doesn't do well, okay, it's one of those things where you got to wonder how the Flash is going to do, right? Even if it makes $100 million opening weekend, what is it going to do after that? Because as I said before, it's not about the opening weekend. It's about the second weekend. Because word of mouth is so incredibly and vitally important that if I see it and I go tell my friends, hey, you should really go see this, it's worth it. Great job. And then, you know, so this is not good. This is not good for Warner Brothers. And I'm not going to repeat it again, but we're going to see where this thing goes with The Flash. And I'm really, really curious to see what projections are for the Flash. Here's another thing too, and I saw this in Deadline and I couldn't believe it. It's projected, and I say projected because it's about a month away. It's projected that the Super Mario Brothers movie, okay, starring Chris Pratt being Mario as the voiceover, for 5 days could make 85 to $90 million. That's huge. That's huge. Now, obviously, it's skewing toward a younger demographic, kids and young adults, and so I'm really going to be curious to see what this does next weekend and how it's John Wick and how it's going to impact John Wick. I think all of the people, had this been a good movie, I think you would have seen that they would have had repeat business and people would have still gone to see John Wick, but it wouldn't make as much money. You're going to see John Wick really, really clean house. Shazam's going to be number two, but it's not going to make that much money. Anyway, guys, what do you think? Did you see Shazam last night? If you did, or if you've seen it, what did you think of it? Did you like it, or could you have passed on it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section.